Hey guys, welcome to Raising Larry. This is an NBA podcast with two college students. My name is Ahmad,
My name is Yusuf.
and we're just going to be talking about random basketball facts, random basketball knowledge, and hoping to spread some knowledge, get some knowledge, and do some good things with this.
Basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to mimic, you and your friends just sitting around talking about random stuff, certain teams, certain players, hot takes, draft stuff's coming up, playoffs starting a little bit over a week. So, this is, we're just trying to start this up and we'll see how it goes. First thing we're going to talk about is, I know we're a little bit late on this. We're not ESPN or anything like that, but we're going to be talking about Kawhi Leonard and that saga that's going on. Nobody really knows what's going on. We just know that he's got this mysterious quad injury.
A random quad injury.
Tony Parker threw some shade saying his quad injury was 100 times worse. Don't know if that was kind of a symbol saying, hey guys, pack up your best Kawhi Leonard offers because he's not welcome back into that locker room, I guess.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going on. All that's being said, they're really keeping it hush-hush, and that's really kind of scary because, that is the Spurs organization. They really don't have anything going on with them. And for this to come out, I think it just really shows that it's something weird and something mysterious.
Yeah, exactly. They don't leak a lot of stuff out of that organization.
Really
and it's strange because Pop is usually a big-time players coach, so when I'm hearing these stories, it's got to be coming from the Spurs because Kawhi, I'm pretty sure, would want this to stay quiet. He's just looking to get that super max in the future. I don't think he wants to risk coming back. So whatever we're hearing is definitely coming from the Spurs camp. So this is a little bit of a shocker because usually, Pop is the guy who's resting his players, on primetime games a few years ago. He got in trouble. So this is a little bit out of left field.
And this guy is clearly the best player when healthy. Him and Aldridge are their centerpieces,
Yeah, Aldridge wasn't even playing that well before, and now that he's playing at like an all-star level, if Kawhi came back, they can make some noise.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like he's going to be coming back. But if he does, then we'll see what happens. His contract, he has a player option coming up the year after this. But if he wants to stay with the Spurs, then his supermax is looking really nice. It's looking at 37 million, 40 million, 43, 46, and 49 million. So that's a lot of money that would want him to stay there.
You'd want to wonder whether the Spurs, after what's going on right now, like if they're comfortable dishing out $200+ million to somebody who they might think it's a mental issue. Maybe it's not even just the severity of the quad injury. Maybe they think it's something in their head. Derrick Rose never came back after his injuries, and that was mostly mental. So it all depends on whether the organization is willing to invest that kind of money.
And they're not going down without a fight. They're looking really good right now. Where are they? I think they're fourth place right now. Let me look at that. But they have nobody right now either. All they have is DeJounte, Kawhi, Bryn Forbes. They have all these low names and young people.
It's that system, man. Because just the other day they beat Golden State. I think it was 103-99 with all that star power. I think it's just that system. I think it doesn't really. Obviously talent matters. They're a better team with Kawhi, but I think that when it comes to Pop and the Spurs, it's more of a collective unit. So I think maybe when you're looking at, I don't know, maybe potential trade like landing spots, I think maybe if you're the Spurs, you're just looking for some like really solid role players to maybe dump some salary and then like a top pick. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This draft coming up is loaded at the top. Loaded.
There's a lot of good players. Speaking about some trade landing spots, I think a good landing spot would be somewhere in the West. Maybe the Lakers even wants to go home.
Yeah, the Lakers make sense if they're willing to give up their young talent, maybe like Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma.
I really don't see them giving him up. Kuzma is playing amazing. He's playing a lot better than anybody would have thought. It looks like he's the only one that really cares on that team. Him and Randall wanting to get that max salary most likely. But yeah, him and Ingram, they would be tough to give up for Kawhi, who's coming off fresh off an injury. You don't know what's going on in his head, and if he's going to be able to play under the same system under Luke Walton as he did with Pop.
The thing is, Kyle Kuzma is a horrific defender. So in trading for Kawhi Leonard, you're not only shoring up the offensive side, you're shoring up the defensive side. You're also looking forward to this summer. You might think, hey, if I'm going to make a play for LeBron James or any of these big free agents, maybe they're more willing to come to play with LA with Kawhi Leonard, because as constructed right now, the Lakers are a few years away. I know that teams might be enticed to play with Lonzo because of his playmaking and distributing skills, but I don't think a seasoned veteran NBA All-Star really looks at, like, let's say Kyle Kuzma and says, oh, I'm going to go to LA because of Kyle Kuzma. You know what I mean? Or Brandon Ingram. I think if Kawhi Leonard is there, you're banking on the fact that he's going to return to his normal state. Because when healthy, he's without a doubt top 5, arguably top 3 player, two-way player in the league. Nobody else is a two-way player like him, maybe with the exception of Paul George and Jimmy Butler. But neither of them are on his level. So I think that it makes sense if they feel like they can be players over the summer, that it might be worth giving up those young pieces to go out and win a championship.
I think people forget that this guy, Kawhi Leonard, is an NBA champion and a Finals MVP too, and that just doesn't, that doesn't go down the drain just because you get an injury. You are always going to be MVP of the Finals, and you're always going to be NBA champion, and having that kind of title and having that experience rep and coming from the Spurs organization, that's something that people, and if we're talking about people like other players, that's something going to be looking at. Another maybe option he could be considering, or the team could be considering, is the Memphis Grizzlies. They're horrible this season.
Yeah, they're really bad.
They're basically one of the worst teams, if not the worst team.
They lost by like 60 the other day.
Yeah, they were down like a lot the whole game. They would never had a chance to come back.
Right now, if we put the Grizzlies with Villanova, who do you think would win right now?
Oh, I think the Grizzlies still win. Yeah. But they're still, they don't look good. They have Conley, they have Gasol, who are going to get paid a lot. But I don't know if they have the room, if they have the salary, and they're willing to get Kawhi Leonard. I don't think that would be a bad choice. Those 3 players together, that'll be awesome. They're all defensive, great players. Kawhi Leonard is a defensive player going into the grindhouse, and that'll be a perfect landing spot.
I mean, the thing with the Grizzlies that's unique is that even though they're quote-unquote tanking, they're different in these other teams like Phoenix and Atlanta in that they still have major salary pieces on their team, like a Mike Conley, who got maxed out a little while ago, like Marc Gasol, etc. So I think that maybe if they don't want to just maybe swallow that salary cap and just tank for the next few years, maybe they say, hey, we still have Mike Conley, we still have Marc Gasol. Maybe we can just go. We're not going to have the opportunity to go and pick up somebody who's a top 5, top 3 player every year. And the draft is a crapshoot anyway, so maybe we just package our pick in some expiring contracts, maybe take on a little bit of salary so we can go get our guy.
And another funny thing that would maybe happen, there's 0% chance it would happen, but I saw that it was kind of funny that they had the ESPN Trade Machine show LeBron and Kawhi going to the Knicks, which was actually really funny. That would be a crazy, duo matchup in one team. The next thing we want to talk about is Embiid and the Sixers just as a team.
How unlucky are they? That whole city, when Carson Wentz went down, I saw all over social media these poor Philly fans just felt like nothing was ever going their way. That changed a little bit come February, but in just a side note,
a little bit.
This Sixers team, it almost feels like every time one of their promising young players enters the court, it's almost like an injury sacrifice or something like that. Either you got to skip the year, there's a mysterious injury surrounding Fultz, and when Fultz finally comes back, he takes out their actual best player.
Coming back before Kawhi, by the way.
Yeah, that's who would have been. I wonder what the over-under on Vegas was for that. With Embiid, it's weird because it was a freak injury. It was an orbital fracture. He's supposed to be back within 2 weeks, so that's setting him up for like right around the beginning of the first round. But that Sixer team with Embiid healthy is really dangerous, I think, because
they're on a 10-game winning streak even without Embiid.
Exactly, and that Joel Embiid in the post and just being able to move around, having the shot and everything like that is like basically, I think I'm ready to proclaim as one of the best defenders in the league. I think that
relax.
No, I'm serious. I think that promising. He might be a future all defensive and first team all defenses or something like that. But this team, when healthy, I feel like can challenge anybody. Really, I mean, who in the East do we see who's like really formidable? We see Toronto is the number 1 seed, but we know how they've played come playoff season almost every year.
It's like a whole new team. They play like a lottery team in the playoffs. It's crazy.
Boston's missing Kyrie right now. We don't know when he's going to come back. He might come back for the first round. He might not be back to the conference championship. Cleveland's been all over the place this season, even though I still think that come playoff season, LeBron's team's going to...
Zero Dark 30 mode is going to kick in, and everybody's going to lose, basically.
Yeah, he's just going to log off Twitter, and then it's over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think when healthy, this team is really, really dangerous. Ben Simmons is really, really nice. The only thing that worries me about the Sixers team is that come playoff time, I think that all of a sudden you're going to see less calls being given by the refs. You're going to see teams start to, like, kind of zero in on Ben Simmons' lack of shooting, so maybe sag off on him a little bit, make Ben Simmons beat you. We haven't seen it yet because they're such a young team, but I think that if you force Ben Simmons to win the game for you, then I think that you might have some trouble. That's why I think you need Joel to be there.
And Joel has a crazy impact for them. Their plus-minus with and without him is amazing. He obviously makes a big difference. Before these past 2 games,
what was the record without?
Yeah, before the past 2 games that they just played, they were 3-8. And then if we're counting the game that he went down, along with these other 2 games that they won, they're 6-8 now. But obviously,
without him.
Yeah, without him. Yeah. So we'll just say they're 5-8, 6-8, whatever it is. Basically, they're losing more without him than they are winning. And the net rating for the best 3 matchups, best 3 lineups, the best lineup with 3 players is 3 of them. The top 3 are Sixers lineups. All of them have Embiid in it. So without Embiid, it's obvious that they're a complete different team, and they're going to need him in the playoffs, because once the playoffs come around, there's nobody else the opposing team is going to be guarding. They just sag off Simmons, make him shoot, and then when they sag off him, they just go close out on Redick. I mean, Rashard Holmes is the only other threat, but he needs to play well too. So we'll see what happens there. Covington, I don't know what happened to him. He was playing amazing, and then Lord knows. We'll see what happens with Fultz too. Let's see if he gets him maybe into the starting lineup. But his first game back was kind of cool just to see like him, getting some run and getting some points up there.
Well, here's the thing. Here's where it gets tricky. Philly still has a few games to go, and Indy and Washington are like Washington less so, but Indy is right on their tails. So I mean, let's say that if Indy catches up, maybe that'll swing home court, and for a young team in the playoffs, that might be a big issue.
Yeah, definitely. They are a young team. They're really inexperienced. Pacers, they have some experience at least. I think Oladipo finally these past couple games, he's finally playing the guy like the guy that we thought. That he was playing in the beginning of the season. After he fell off. I had him on my fantasy team. He was supposed to bring me home the championship, but it didn't really work out. So if that swings home court, you never know what can happen.
Let's say Philly gets a healthy Joel Embiid. How far do you think they can go? Right now, if current seeding holds, they're slotted to face the Pacers as the Indy's the 5th seed and Philly's the 4th seed, so Philly would have home court right now. And let's say that